Before we start the podcast today, we'd like to take a moment to recognize mental health. Although Mental Health Awareness Month has ended, we are still highly supportive of the cause. There are people out there with mental distress, and we'd like to keep on recognizing them throughout this time.
If you or anyone you know is going through anything, whether it be family, friends, whomever, go ahead and reach out to them. Just, be that extra hand that they need, because you never know what's going through someone else's mind. Just be that one extra person that's in their life, because that might be what they need. So just be that one more person, be there for them, reach out to them, just try to make their day a little bit better.
And if there is no one close to you that is able to help you, just know there are all the other people out there that are willing to help you during these times. And we here at Let's Talk Geek are very, very supportive and are wanting to help anyone that is out there, close to us, not close to us, anyone that's a part of our community. We're here to help you throughout any of this distress. We love you all. Peace, love, and positivity. Love you, geeks. We're back. Welcome back, Brandon. We took a little bit of
Took a little break.
little leeway.
Had to go celebrate. Oh shit! Had to go celebrate the 21st. You know how it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear a round of applause for Brandon. 21, finally made it. How was Reno?
It was pretty good. I was just with family. Got to go gamble a lot. I did not win a lot. I lost a lot.
Lost a lot. That's how it always is. You
That's
just have
how
to
it
be.
goes.
You have to be really, really lucky to get a lot of money back.
You gotta be lucky.
I'm just that dude.
I guess he's just that guy, and I'm not.
Him University,
Him, you.
I'm him.
You're him.
But that's good. I'm glad to have you back. I was really, really bored last weekend. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
Yeah.
all I was doing was just studying for finals, and that got me pretty stressed the fuck out. Do want to tell you guys, ladies and gentlemen, I am officially done with the semester.
Let's give a round of applause for him, bro. He finished.
Thank fucking Christ. I need a little bit of break. I honestly, I think that what got me through the semester a lot was, of course, the weekends with you doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Marvel coming out with shows. I'm not even just talking about, not just Moon Knight, but also, we got Boba Fett and then a whole bunch of other movies that came out and, Netflix shows here and there. I mean, I didn't play a lot of video games this month. It was really busy, especially with work. 'Cause, like, last semester, we actually used to play video games a lot.
We did.
We
did play a lot.
But, it was a really draining semester, and I'm really glad that, we finished it. I have my own opinions about school and all that, and but I'm glad that now, Brandon still works. I mean, I'll be working, I'll be training still, of course, but we get to focus more on the vision, focus more on the craft, and that's what I'm kind of really glad that, all the stress really gets to lift off of me. And, we just get to keep on doing our thing. We just get to keep on being geeks,
That's right.
And ladies and gentlemen, today we will be talking geek for a sec. We were actually supposed to do this episode last week, but again, we took a little bit of a leeway break. But we're back. We're here to do it to you, and we're actually planning on. We were gonna do this a full episode of episode 5 and 6, but we decided, you know what? I think 5 really needs to be explored a little bit more than episode 6, because Brandon, would you say that since those episodes are out, like, those were the 2 best episodes we've gotten out the whole season?
Well, for sure. Yeah, I think it goes 5, 6, and then 1.
1 was a really strong episode.
In those top 3 orders, yeah. Very strong start, and then even stronger finish, honestly.
Very, very, very great.
As opposed to
great finish, but exactly, we did have to separate them just because they do have different meanings, and especially this one, which in this episode, which I have yet to see a Marvel show unlike this go super deep into the meaning of anything that they've ever gone to, and we've expressed it already in the past before that we saw the view of what Marvel was going for throughout this series was mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that this episode really, really showed the true, I want to say the true terror of what, like, mental distress can really cause on a person.
Right.
Coming to trauma, PTSD, coping with yourselves, trying to get over the fact of anything that's ever gone with your life, just pure stress was really shown in this episode, which in my opinion, I think I had told you I called you after see the episode, but I did cry.
It did make me tear up a little bit.
A
few parts during the episode. It's a very deep, very emotional episode. If you have, I guess if you haven't seen it, if you have any kind of parental type issues, I think you'll kind of relate to that one. That's where it's gonna hit deep. It's just a lot to do with the kind of a parental issue and the effects that parents can have on their children at a very young age. That's kind of basically the message that they go for in that one.
I'm not afraid to share this with my geeks, but I have a little bit of daddy issues from time to time. But as you can see in this episode, it was some really deep and horrifying mommy issues.
Mama issues, yes.
And I'm actually really interested in getting into the talk of exactly why that issue came to be, and really comes to the point of that there are really people out there with the problem that had happened with the mom, that there are people out there that really snap like that, and they could really do harm to family, friends, etc., stuff like that. And I don't think I think this episode really, for people that don't get to see it in their everyday life, Disney is really showing that it's out there, and people need to really look out for people that you don't know what people are going through.
Yeah.
You don't know what people are how they're coping with it, or or really how it fucks up with the mind. And before watching this episode, I really thought, again, I know I've mentioned this before, but I like Moon Knight, like the character, even before. I mean, I've read him in a few comics, but nothing to the point of his actual origin the movie got in the show.
Right.
So I really never knew, and still really don't know, the whole personality switch up in the comics. But the way that we see it on here, throughout every single episode, we see that Steve and Mark, it's pretty humorous, Yeah. But to figure out what Steven's purpose really was is really, really makes everything just change the whole game of the show, and makes it really, really sad
to see how far back it went too, because I know we were kind of speculating like Steven was a personality that he was fairly new to him, but he's had it his whole childhood, so we found out. But the fact that, like you were saying, that Steve came to be because of what he was going through, that's the tough part, that he had to create this whole new personality just to hide from his mom, basically. That's a really tough part whenever they bring that one out.
No. So, now, I mean, I said we can really jump into, the whole episode as a whole, just so we can build up to what we're going to, because, again, that was the whole mental trauma thing was, the biggest part of it. It took, the biggest chunk of that episode.
Yeah.
Of course, in the previous episode, we did see Steven... Mark actually gets shot.
Wakes up in the asylum.
And we know that... we kind of got ourselves played. Episode 4 wasn't really as big of an episode as I mean, it was a good plot twist to figure out what we were thinking of, but we can kind of definitely say that episode 5 was the big conclusion. They should have hyped up episode 5 the most, honestly.
I think so.
I do want to say that at one point, Brandon, the last time when he talked about this, Brandon actually brought this up. He said that, I don't know if people had caught this in the last episode, but if you look at the way that the lights were flickering, or the way they were swinging. Brandon said that they were probably on a ship. Brandon was right. They were definitely on a ship, and it was the ship of... Do you remember what the hippo's name was again? The hippo goddess?
Taweret, yeah.
Such a... I kept on looking at the CGI of it, and it's fucking amazing.
It is. That is a real life hippo that's just walking around. That's what's crazy.
Of course we've seen CGI all throughout Marvel, and they've made it look pretty real. But I mean, this looked real. You know how the Spider-Man costumes, for a fact they're real costumes, but they CGI the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
This looked
This just looked like a real...
a fucking hippo, bro.
It literally looked like a hippo. So they did that very well. I mean, I guess she wasn't moving around very much other than when she was talking, but Still looked very good. Still looked like a real ass hippo. Like it didn't look like some fake ass hippo. It was real.
I had talked to Josh, and Josh is a really big, my roommate Josh. He's a really big Moon Knight fan, and he said that in the episode that in the comics they actually weren't. It wasn't supposed to. You know what? He's out here. Josh, put the trash down.
What?
Get on the podcast. Yep, ladies and gentlemen,
Special guest.
special guest again. Haven't had him out since episode 10, but we
Special
are
guest. Last minute
special guest. You know, we're actually here now, and we're glad that we get to talk to him about it. But you know what? You know him, you love him, the one and only Josh.
Yes, sir. There he is.
How you doing today, Josh?
Big chill.
We big chilling. You glad the semester's over?
Absolutely.
Heck yeah. So Josh, before we actually hop into it, we are actually today, since we didn't talk about it last week, we're talking about episode 5 of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And well, in your opinion, would you say that that is the best episode of Moon Knight?
Absolutely, yes.
What were your real like key points about it, and not just key points also, but you being the big Moon Knight fan, what were pretty good similarities to it comparison to the comics as well?
Well, so coincidentally, like, I think about 2 or 3 days before the episode aired, I bought the comic it was based off of by sheer coincidence.
Okay.
So as it happened, I knew everything that was happening and what was changed and whatnot.
Fresh in
And it was dope to see because I literally just read it. But, so, for those of you who don't know, I packed it, unfortunately. I can't get the author off the top of my head, but it's a specific Moon Knight issue where instead of it just being about, like, Mark going around killing shit, it's actually just about, like, Mark coming to terms with his DID and, like, realizing that he doesn't actually need Khonshu to, like, be content as Moon Knight.
Okay.
And so instead of it focusing on, like, oh, I have to fight everything, like, I have to win or whatever, I like beating the shit out of people, it's more like, do I really need to be doing this for some god, or do I need to do it for myself?
Right.
And so watching it was amazing. Are we doing the spoiler kind of episode for 5?
I mean we can kind of like go along
so
with
kinda,
it right now.
I'll just go over like what they changed comically, I guess. But like, of course, because it was only 6 episodes, they couldn't include like Crawley or Frenchie or Gina or whatnot in terms of like the background characters and stuff like that. So that got cut.
Well, Josh, since you actually brought that up, do you mind a brief explanation of who those characters are for the people that actually don't know?
Imagine they're just like characters that help Moon Knight. Like, there's a lot of different like variations on like what kind of things they do. A lot of it's like intel or reconnaissance or whatnot, like on Crawley's side. Frenchie was hired to like deal with Moon Knight's technology kind of thing, so he'll like run the moon copter and like all that kind of shit.
Spoiler alert, we never got the moon copter.
Yeah. Well, they don't have Frenchie. How are they going to do it?
Not
The
yet.
whole point of that, Steven's supposed to be a billionaire in the comics, and they didn't do that. So that's where all the tech on Moon Knight's side comes from. And so, because they were just like, yeah, museum employee, it was like, no. Which hopefully they get into later.
Yeah, maybe he'll get there.
But, so, and then Gina is like a restaurant owner. She like helps the gang out a lot in terms of like intel or whatnot, or like they all have like a meeting place at like her restaurant if anything happens or whatnot. But
Okay.
like, so they had to cut all of that pretty much. That's why like they changed the god in it. I think what's her name? It's like Takashed or something like that.
No, Brandon, you just said the hit
To wear it.
Huh?
To wet it.
Taweret? Yeah. So they changed that. That was supposed to be Anubis.
Right.
And the plot of the comic is that Crawley sacrifices his soul so that the other ones can escape. Whereas, and there, of course, eventually they're balancing the scales and whatnot with Taret as they go to the field of reeds. But then instead of that, Mark is supposed to like try to save Crawley by like finding Anubis's wife in like the outer void, which is where the Egyptian gods come from.
Okay.
And then, so that didn't happen, of course, so all that got scrapped. It was just Mark trying to balance his soul.
Which, I mean, they did really, really well on this. Of course, it was, I think, man, it was one hell of a ride for it to finally, like, find perfect balance. And the reason that, again, I mean, the way that I saw it, which, I mean, we'll definitely get to it, that I guess for Mark to really be fully at peace was to finally find his kind of his sanity back, and which is by letting Steven go. Would you say that I'm kind of on point with a bit, Josh?
In a way. It's way more about him coming to terms with, like, these people are a part of me rather than just, like, I need to let go of them, you know? Mm-hmm. It's him accepting that, like, you're as much a part of me as I am a part of me, and we need to find perfect balance with
that's more of, like, the episode 6. But, like, you kind of see what I was talking about for, like, episode 5, right? For Steven to... Like, that, because the scales didn't
even
go...
then in episode 5, it was more about, like, Steven realizing, like, holy shit, I'm not even real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, big spoiler.
Big freaking spoiler right there. I know that we usually like cut down and go into the breaks with it, but I mean we're just gonna try and go into.
We're gonna go balls to the wall.
Yeah, just balls to the wall about it. So I guess like the main part of it, which I guess is basically like the mom part, and especially like the death of Steven I always get confused with just mixing up Steven and Mark, but Mark's the main his main
Mark is the main body.
Yeah, that losing Mark's brother. In the comics, does he lose his brother as well?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Well, but doing that, so, and Steven finding out like having to find out and him not remembering like any of Mark's recollection of any of that death or how Mark's mother like treated him is really, really shocking to the point of where was Steven's mind at to not realize that he was getting beat by his mother, you know?
Yeah, you mean Mark's?
No, I mean
no,
because I mean like
Steven's was a personality that Mark made, of course, to deal with in the show the death of his mother and like the abuse afterwards. But in the comics, like originally he just thought they were like real people that were his friends, and then his dad caught him like talking to himself in his room. I'm like, oh, what are you doing, son? Like, who are you talking to? And it was just like, oh, my friend Steven here, and he was just in a room by himself. And so then they went and they were like, oh, maybe it's like an imaginary friend or something like that. And then they took him to a psychologist, of course, and that's when they were diagnosed with DID. But so Steven and should we talk about the other one in terms of like comics? Because I don't know if they're gonna bring that in or anything later, kind of thing. You know.
I don't want to.
We might want to save that.
So yeah, save it in for whenever we record that.
But so Steven, just off of 6 was or 5, I should say, was the one that was made to like cope with like his mother doing all that stuff and like the loss of his brother. Right. Comically, that didn't happen, of course, but that's what they went for in the show. I guess it adds a level of sympathy to Mark that I enjoy in a way. Mm-hmm. But
did he in the comics? Did he have that mommy issue? Did he have mommy issues?
Have any
I believe issues? His mom was a drunk and beat him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But there just wasn't a whole
brother aspect. The brother cause.
Okay.
That whole scene was deep as fuck, and I had told Brandon before we even started the episode that like, for someone to really turn on their own blood, like their own child, like that, like. In my sense, again, I can't really say how I would act unless I was put in a situation like that as a parent. But I mean, that would take a lot of hate to really turn on your own child, and put that much pressure on him, blaming him that was like you're the reason that he's dead, in a sense that they're just kids.
Yeah.
And it was by a natural cause, of course. Like he made, like I wouldn't even say he made a mistake. You can't control the fucking weather in the show, you know. Yeah. So I mean, everything, not like in my belief, everything does happen for a reason, and it was just unlucky that were to have happened. But for the mother to treat him like that, and I want to give kudos to Mark's fucking dad. He
held it together.
He held it together, stayed true to Mark throughout the whole time.
Stayed true to his son.
I don't know, because at the same time he like never stopped his mother.
He never did. No.
So it's like kind of like he took part in like. Oh, you know, like, it's not your fault, son, kind of thing. But at the same time, he let it happen. So it's kind of like, were you really, like, that good, you know? Like, you knew something was happening.
Yeah.
And you just did nothing. You just, like, talked to him afterwards. I'm like, you know, that's not, like, your mother normally. And it's like, bro, she just beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, you gotta wonder how the relationship between the father and the mother was after that, because it's like they never show that part. Like,
yeah,
it was kind of just the dad
well, I
would try
think
to
also
comfort
it was
her,
like
but
she turned to like alcohol and like using a prescription medicine, like overdosing on it, kind of in a way, and it wasn't mixing with the alcohol well. And I guess in the show that's what they were basing like the beatings off of.
And I mean, it's a. I've been thinking about how to like really describe it. It's a real perfect description of how there are people out there that like are abusive, and how like mental distress comes out to their children, and like I keep on saying over and over again, like it's a great job of how Disney and the director portrayed this into an episode like this, because like it's been a while from this point on in the series where we even saw like Moon Knight action, to where we see real human life interaction rather than a superhero interaction, which I really liked. But at the same time, it's really disgusting and horrifying.
Absolutely.
To really see like that type of the stress going on in the world. And again, like, I mean, I'm getting kind of emotional here, but like thinking it, because just like by watching the episode, it's so sad.
yeah,
And man, I really wish that like it really corrupted. It's really weird what it can do to the human mind for him to really switch up to where I need to have a personality, a gateway, just so like to cope with all this. It's so fucking harsh.
right.
So I don't know. Again, amazing the cinematography, but just a horrible sight to see at the same time.
Yeah, the fact that they're able to bring something like that to light, because they, like you were saying, they never do that before in any of these shows or anything.
Never really seen anything.
They don't
like
bring
that.
real human not interactions, but like human tragedy, human like traumas, I should say, to real life. But this is the first time it's ever been showcased, and on a scale like this, it is kind of. It's really just eye-opening, honestly.
I do gotta say that like before this episode, I was giving Moon Knight like a very low like 7, because I thought like some of like the episodes were great, but it wasn't catching my attention. But to this now, it made a big jump to where I was like, okay, this is a very like good like I'm gonna give it like a solid 9 now, just because it was at like a 8.5 for me from this episode, which made a big jump. But again, after episode 6, definitely a 9.
Yeah, absolutely.
But besides even that scene, I know that like we're talking about that scene a lot because that was like the main portrayal of it. The breakdown of Steven was amazing as well. And again, like I want to say kudos to Oscar Isaac for like just
I was about to say that.
Phenomenal actor.
Like goddamn, for him to. It's so funny because I remember watching another there's another YouTube channel that I see of like reviews, and they were doing of Moon Knight, and they were making fun of how Oscar Isaac like developed his own like British accent, which I mean I see why, because like it's really like squeaky and all that other stuff, but it's still at the same time for him to have that he has the perfect accent for the character that they're trying to portray in the show, because he's a fucking wimp at the same time too. So it's a good little
in the show, yes.
Yeah,
for what they were writing.
Yeah, for what they were going for. I know that like I mean Josh, you're the only one that can really like ask about this. I mean like how big of a difference was it between the show and the comics? And I mean, but
in terms of Steven?
Yeah.
Night and day.
But like, were you okay with the route that they did? Or like exactly
what I did to prep for Moon Knight was contrary to most people in this situation. I completely dropped all of my comic knowledge, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a clean slate, see what they do with it. Because Moon Knight's a tough character to nail. Number one, the casting has to be absolutely perfect. You can't do that half-assed at all. And then B, it's like, it's a Disney show, and they have to market to a wide audience, so they can't do like comically, like Mark gets a nemesis on his first year of being Moon Knight, And within a year, he kills him, cuts off his face, and wears his mask for like 3 years. His face is a mask. He like puts it over the Moon Knight mask.
It's pretty crazy.
And it's like, you can't market that to every like person. No one's gonna. Some people will vomit.
Yeah.
Like.
Talk about emotional
that level of
distress.
movie,
Goddamn.
They can't like show that to everyone, so they had to dial that back, and I understood that. You can't go into modern people with that. And I knew there were going to be changes.
I'm glad that you brought up a little bit of like the gruesomeness that Moon Knight in the comics really has. I mean, I say like the most. I mean, again, like I didn't really even notice that much in episode 6, but I don't want to talk about episode 6 that much. Again, let's just stay on topic right here. But
I was a little disappointed on that because they promised it would be like more violent than Daredevil,
like the Netflix
and
shows,
it really
right?
wasn't.
I think like the only time that we really got like real big time blood was like from the first episode, we didn't even see any action, but we just saw a lot of
episode 2, not 1.
No, episode 1 where like remember where like he fades out at first and he has like the scarab in his hand, but like it's just filled with blood and you see a whole bunch of dead bodies.
Yeah, but episode 2 was like when he was running around like shooting people and shit and like actually fighting people. And I think 3 was when they hint at the third personality and he kills people.
Yeah. But again, there's whenever they don't show it off camera, that's when you see more of like the gruesome. But like whenever it's in action, it's just like any other Marvel type movie. And again, like I was fairly okay with it, but it's just like the way that they were describing the show just didn't like kind of like match up to what they were really hinting at. But I mean, I've seen some pretty like gruesome stuff in Marvel, which I don't really understand why they just didn't do it with this either. But again,
I think it was budget. Honestly, they had to have spent like at least like a good 40% of it on that fucking star scene.
Oh, dude, that
it was so beautiful.
That was an amazing
that probably
scene.
took out a lot of the budget.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? The other part, whenever they went, what were they doing whenever they were going through like the doors?
His memories.
His memory. That was just like his
memory thing.
Steven was going through Mark's memories.
Whenever they saw all those dead bodies of all the people that Mark has killed.
Yeah. So technically, what's supposed to be in the comics is they're in the overvoid, like looking for a way out, and that's why he thinks it's like a mental hospital because you can't perceive that as a human being. Yeah. It's way too like complex for you to even.
Throughout the whole time I was watching it, I really, really thought that Moon Knight was not real. Like I thought, really? like whenever they did the complete switch, I really thought that like from that moment
like when
on,
you're looking at him in the glass. And
I really like even at that, and because I didn't really, I mean, like what was it? How do you say it? There was like glimpses of whenever it was Steven and Mark, and they would be with. I'm just gonna keep on calling her the Hippo Goddess because I can't Tarot, right?
To wear it.
To wear it. Like every time they go back to it, but then they would always switch a scene to where it was Mark with Aro or Harrow, and whenever they just kept on doing those scene switches, it felt like, oh, all that shit with the Hippo Goddess already happened. But whenever they flipped it over, it seemed that like, oh, maybe it was just still part of his imagination, thinking that, holy shit, did we like every single episode that we saw, was it really like just fucking with us just to make it seem like again like head? Whole like the whole mental like awareness type thing, and I was like,
dude, you could not understand my hype the second I saw the Insane Asylum, because that's when it clicked that like I just bought this fucking comic, because it transitioned and I was like, wait a fucking second here, and then it just cuts gradually and you like see people, and I thought it was hinting at Crawley or whatever when it has the different guests in there, and I was like, holy shit, they're doing it, and then you see him like looking at the glass. And I literally like stood up and fucking jumped. I was like, "Fuck!"
But you're punching the fucking air.
Yeah, I knew what was happening, so I was like, "Fuck yeah, this is about to be great."
And it was.
The part whenever they slowly start like figuring like the hearts are slowly starting to get balanced. That I mean, to go back in recollection of every single memory, that was beautiful cinematography.
I was a little disappointed because I thought that's when it was going to be like, oh, the hearts are incomplete. What's missing? And then I thought they were going to go for the third.
No, I thought that at the same time as well. But I mean,
sure,
it just really like circled around just them two throughout the whole time, which I really like. Again, like, what better duo in a I guess just like a movie, of course. Like I know we brought it up before. Like I've said Mark and Steven for being the same actor is amazing. But like, what better duo to really connect with yourself than yourself? You know,
Yeah.
rather than
definitely shout out to Oscar Isaac. Not only to show the amount of range he has as an actor to do the cynical asshole and the British fucking
dweeb.
Yeah, dweeb. But simultaneously to just be able to do that and act with yourself is on a completely other level.
Yeah.
Anyone that ever has to do that in any instance will tell you the same thing. That's like a level above anything else.
There was someone
and
else
for,
who had done.
And for him being two different personalities, he kept the tone.
No, yeah.
Because, you know, he'd have to film, obviously, his Mark scenes and then his Steven scenes. But for him to keep the same tone, switching between characters, even though he's playing two different personalities, is crazy.
He was an actor mode 24/7. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure that like he got some well needed shut eye after filming every single one of those scenes.
I would hope so, man.
Like, goddamn, that's crazy. I had noticed. It had reminded me of something. There is either another movie or another show where they do. I mean, I know it would be them before an Oscar Isaac, but they did an Oscar Isaac where they acted with each other. I just can't wrap my head around who it was that did it.
Well,
but
clearly Zach and Cody.
No, shut up, shut the hell up.
Clearly, yeah. Come on now.
But again, you know, amazing job to Oscar Isaac. I'm really happy, and even besides the show, he still does amazing all of his other acting portrayals. And I know that he actually will be Solid Snake in a upcoming upcoming Metal Gear Solid movie.
I just saw him in Annihilation. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
I have never seen Annihilation.
That was kind of military-esque too. He did really good in that.
It's a good movie.
He's solid as hell, and it's so funny too because there's also like a.
That's the one with Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
There's so many like memes of Oscar Isaac like surfing like around like TikTok and Instagram where it's just like.
Oh, those
like
little,
yeah,
it's the videos, right?
Yeah, even though like
those are the cameos.
Even though like they're funny as fuck, like it's still him like acting. I'm like, okay, like I get it. It's supposed to be a joke, but he's still pretty fucking good at acting.
He's funny. He's a funny guy.
I really want them to at some point do the meme of the random bullshit.
Oh, I'm sure. Hopefully,
it has to be done.
Later on. Like we will.
That or the Dracula owes me money. They have to.
I'm sure.
One of them, just for the love of it, you have to make the comic fans happy. You got to.
We need some fan
Even
service.
though the panel isn't real. For those of you that know, there's one panel where it's like completely fake. Normally it doesn't say anything, but they edited it to where it's like, be careful of Moon Knight. He's known for doing random bullshit. And then you just see the panel of him chucking
just gadgets.
The moon rings or whatever the hell they're called. I forget.
the moon rings.
Yeah.
Maybe Randy called them moon rings.
Or moon darts, I think it is. Random bullshit, go!
Random bullshit. He does pull random bullshit out of his ass the majority of the time.
He does.
I was also kind of disappointed with like the suit itself, not because of the design, but because they made it like a mystic thing. Because the whole concept of Moon Knight as like a vigilante is like, I wear white not because I'm trying to be stealthy, but because I want you to know I'm coming and I want you to be shitting yourself in fear. Because I'm about to beat your fucking ass.
Yeah.
And they can't do that because he just heals everything now. They can't do that. That was the whole point. Was like, there's one infamous comic where he fights Taskmaster.
Yeah.
And Taskmaster can't do anything against him because Taskmaster, for those of you who don't know, copies the abilities of people he's fighting. But for Moon Knight, he literally couldn't do it. Not because it was impossible, but because the way he fights is just, he would rather take the punch and hit you back twice as hard than to just dodge it.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, he's going to take the hit and keep going harder. And Taskmaster literally would have died if he kept fighting with Moon Knight style. So he stopped.
So he is one of the goats in the comics. But where are we at right now?
I did want to say the scene whenever we finally get to whenever Mark finally is in the desert, mom was dying. And he accepts Khonshu, but I mean, like, that is pure gaslighting of fucking Khonshu.
Yeah.
Bro, like, for him to, like, say, I mean, like, he's just...
I liked how they did that scene in terms of, like, making it, like, seem like the comic. I was also a little surprised later on, though, when they were like, is episode 5 when they like delve deeper into that?
Into
like Steven officially not being real. I think that is Steven or season 5 or episode 5 I should say.
Yeah.
So in the comics gradually as you hear about the doctor diagnosing him with the DID or whatnot, you see Khonshu there looming over Mark as
really?
a 8-year-old, and he's just you don't know me yet, my son, but you will later.
What?
And then he disappears. That's a big thing in the comics is you don't even know if Khonshu is even real.
Yeah.
He might just be one of Mark's personalities that dictates what he does. And so Khonshu is always just this fluctuating thing in the comics of is he even real or is he a figment of Mark's brain?
Jesus Christ, again, just fucking with each other's minds throughout the whole fucking time.
I guess he could be.
Khonshu is a big fucking asshole. But I still
so
like the character
though, and it's such a beautiful thing simultaneously because sometimes Khonshu is this guidance figure for Mark and he looks out for him, and then other times it's he's just this manipulative asshole that does not let him be free.
Not as free as he wants to be.
Yeah.
But
so great concept of what they're doing between the bond between Mark and Khonshu. I still like it. I guess getting all the recollection of every single memory and getting to that point where they're almost to the what is it, the gates of
the field of reeds. Oh wait,
no, the big ass gate.
Gates of Osiris.
The gates of Osiris, to where they're almost there and they're oh, time is up. They never fully balance their heart and come to that point where Steven's guiding the ship and Mark's fighting off all these, I guess what you say, mummies, right?
there's the undead.
The undead.
Or the souls of the damned.
No, the souls of the damned?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a specific word for it, but I forget.
So
Yeah,
they were just, he was wailing at them, and then I like how in that brief moment, whenever Steven fully realizes that if Mark does that, that means I can basically do it too, because I'm basically the same person. He goes and helps out Mark, and then it was really sad to see that Steven sacrificed his life at that one point, because I really thought that once that happened,
I thought that was it.
I thought that was it for Steven, because it was so sad. I was we were finally seeing the real bond of both of them accepting each other.
When I saw that, I figured he would be fine, because it's Steven technically isn't a real person, so I was well, he's just part of Mark's mind. He's probably fine. That's what I thought when I saw it, at least. But.
No, the episode was just too intense for me to think of how you were thinking it, to where I was just wow, they really just killed off Steven.
Yeah.
And you don't have as much Moon Knight knowledge.
Yeah, and then freaking of course we see the hearts balance out and Mark ends up in, would you say, paradise, right?
The field of reeds is supposed to be ultimate heaven and Egyptian.
The way that ended and him just there in the field, it was the biggest trip of my fucking mind, because that whole episode was just a roller coaster of shit happening and the director hitting us with different types of plot holes and different types of memory story arcs in there, to Steven's death, to the episode just ending like that. Really, I had no concept of what the next episode really could have brought. But again, kudos to that episode. That's still
it was a beautiful ending, though.
It was
a beautiful.
Him coming to terms with Steven was really well written.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was intense. I love that episode. I want to go back and watch it again. Just that. I honestly, I just want to watch episode 5 and episode 6 again.
Absolutely,
probably could.
But again, we'll definitely get into episode 6 the next episode. which
Like,
we'll definitely be
I
doing.
really wish they would have like made it longer though in terms of like the series itself,
That's
so
what I
they
was
could
saying.
delve deeper into it.
I feel like 6 episodes
Because
is
there
too
are a
short.
lot of inconsistencies and whatnot for like Moon Knight's character in general that like more episodes could have rounded out. You know,
Yeah.
like give it like what was the Netflix ones, like 14 episodes or something like that.
No,
Give
it was
something
10,
like-
it was 10
This
episodes.
is like 10 episodes per season, but even then they
Yeah,
had
but even at
they had
that, it wasn't even
multiple
like with
seasons.
Disney Plus either.
I think
and
Punisher had more than that at least.
no, Punisher had 10, and they just did
Are you sure?
2. Yeah, they did 2 seasons.
Oh well, but like just give it more like room. Like Moon Knight is way too good of a character to just like put a band-aid on it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure. And
Yeah.
you definitely
He'll
tell.
definitely come back. Even though they're saying
Yeah.
no plans for season 2, I think he'll come back. Well, maybe
Well,
he might get a
I
fucking
think what
movie.
they were saying was like Oscar Isaac said like if it's well received, number one, and like if I see it and the writing is good and I think it'll be portrayed well, then I'll do another season.
Yeah.
Because I think he only signed for the one. Is like I don't know if this will go anywhere, but I want to try it.
Well, here it is. I mean, with the reception he's had, I have no doubt he'll come back. I think everyone wants to see Moon Knight back.
I think
Especially
a lot
with
of
everything
people's
they left.
problems with the show was only with like the writing because it wasn't like traditional Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I think everyone still appreciated his performance, so I
Yeah.
think he might come.
I appreciate the show as a whole now, just of how the buildup of it was. Like honestly, again, like I said, these last 2 episodes really changed my whole perspective on it. And I'm glad that
They redeemed it for you.
Yeah. I'm glad that we got exactly what we got. But again, we're not even done talking about this. You know, this was just the tip of the iceberg to get into episode 6. But you know, that was our little. We just talked geek for a sec on episode 5 of Moon Knight. Again, a beautiful episode that I definitely will not forget. Marvel Studios did an amazing job on this. We want to thank Josh again.
Thank you, sir.
A quick tag in.
You're a quick tag in, of
for
course.
hopping on real quick.
We needed a Moon Knight expert on this. We definitely know that we could not do this without you, so we greatly appreciate you.
Yeah. Let me know if you want episode 6, dog.
I'm pretty. We're definitely gonna have you on for episode 6. But again, you know, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Josh again as always. And
thank you, sir.
yeah, that was a good episode, Brandon. I'm glad that we actually got that out. It was really bugging with me that I was waiting for you to get back so we could talk about this episode and especially like the deep meaning of it. And I cannot express enough, ladies and gentlemen, enough of how much this episode really like means to a whole bunch of like just people out there. Like please look out for others out there that are in deep distress. Like there are people that need your help, our help, anyone's help. So even whenever you feel lonely at times, just know that you have your fellow geeks with you, and we're always here to support you in dire times of need. And you know, I'm here for you. Brandon's here for you. You are not alone. And you know, hey, especially me and Brandon, we're not alone. We have each other throughout it all.
We have
no
each
matter
other
what.
always.
But thank you guys for joining us on our ride of this. Video will be posting up soon. Again, we are on YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Let's Talk Geek Pod. We've been doing really well with the social media. We actually do have some upcoming video edits of coming towards TikTok very, very soon. I'm not a big TikTok fan, but we know for a fact that
we're working on it.
We can put some funny stuff on there that I hope that entertains y'all. But you know, peace, love, and positivity. Stay awesome, stay geek, and as always, I've been Nene.
I've been Brandon.
And we'll talk geek for a sec later. Deuces.
To be its own game, so it should have just been like I don't even know. I don't know what they could have put it in.
No, it actually is.
I think it is recording.
But why?
I don't know. Like, close the app.
What was the cracker even for? I just remember seeing it being like they like.
The one that
we're doing some ASMR.
ASMR.
Oh, Gibby cleaned it. Brandon with the wisdom teeth out. Brandon got his wisdom teeth out yesterday and still went to go see Dr. Strange.